Going on, guys? Hey, with all this going on, kind of brainstorm a little bit. Um, how about we put our heads together, man, and we honestly try to come up with a solution. I mean, it's real cute to say, "Hey, man, we need to come together as a nation. Hey, this is wrong. This is right. Protesting, all this stuff." But at the end of the day, like we've seen, that doesn't really change much, man, because this has been going on for a long time. So we can't keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result. So, in my opinion, I mean, thinking about it, when it comes to police brutality, racism, and how people feel about other people, man, that's a complicated situation. But the police department, I think that's an easy fix, man. I mean, that's a organization. So the way I look at it, I've been involved in training all my life. While in the Navy, I mostly train as a gunner's mate. I train people how to do stuff, da da da, and it's just a structured way to go about doing things. And there's a saying in the Navy that says every rule or procedure is written in blood, meaning we were doing something a certain way and somebody either got hurt or almost got hurt or died. And because of that, we changed the way we did that procedure and we did it differently. And then everybody would do it that new way. And that's it. And if you don't do it that new way, there's consequences to it. Why the heck can we not just do that in the police department? Is there training involved? Of course, there's training involved. Is there ongoing training? Of course. But you think about high school. There was a guy in high school that maybe wasn't as popular as the rest of the kids, that maybe got picked on in high school or whatever. And maybe they get picked on by minorities or, whatever the case might be. That person that had that kind of hatred maybe for some people, and never were popular or whatever, they feel they never got a fair shake in life. They take a course, they graduate from it, and then they give this person authority. Think about it. I'm saying? You never had authority in your life. Now you're given a gun and you are told to patrol these people, govern all these people. You're given like a sense of entitlement, man. And they're human. Police officers are human, man. You give any human being so much power because they have a lot of power. I mean, you driving down the street as a police officer, you pull somebody over that reminds you of that high school jock that you hated. What I'm saying? They're human. They're going to be like, you know what? Forget this dude. I'm going to hook this dude up a little bit. Are the good majority of cops not like that? Of course not. But you're going to have those situations because they're human. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, because cut this short, man, in the police force, it should be a department that is established that every 2 weeks they have to sit down with a psychologist, man. And they have to ask these police officers questions to make sure they're not biased. And psychologists, people that deal with mental health, they have these techniques that, because I've dealt with a little bit, they have these techniques to see if you're going in the direction of being psycho, if you're going in the direction of being biased towards certain races, if they see you're overly aggressive, if they see that you're, saying all these things, that it is a must when you have so much authority and power, when you are a police officer and you have a 9mm gun on you, you have a shotgun, you have authority over people. And they're human. When you're given so much authority, sometimes you don't know what to do with it, man. I've seen people in the Navy like that. That there's nowhere in the world they should be a chief. There's nowhere in the world they should have been a first class. There's nowhere in the world they should have been an officer, because they can't, they're overstepping their boundaries and their authority. And I think, man, you never had it. And you have no idea how to control this power that you've been given to you. That's cops, man. It should be leadership. And what can we do? I say we write to our congressman, man. We write to our people in power in the government and suggest that. All it takes is one swift pen of the president saying, executive order, I will, as of today, we'll establish a department for each, the police department, a department within a department, that you'll deal with psychological issues. And you will test each officer, you know what I'm saying, on a weekly basis, 2-week basis, or whatever, you know what I'm saying, to make sure you're not too high on your authority, you know what I'm saying, and you will be given exams to test that. You know what I'm saying? You'll be asked questions. You'll be interviewed constantly. You'll be given training on other cultures, other ethnic backgrounds, constantly, not just once. I know they already get that training. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure you go to the academy, you get a 45-minute training on ethnic backgrounds and how to deal with people, and you get a certificate, and that's it. They give you a gun, and here you go, you're good. It should be constant. And then consequences if you don't pass those exams. If those psychologists see that, damn, you're asking these questions kind of aggressively. I see the hostility in your heart. I hear the aggression in your heart. You know what? We need to separate you and put you behind a desk and address those issues. Take away that authority. That will solve the problem with behind police brutality. You know what I'm saying? It's an organization can control that. It's training and education and reprimand when you see, not reprimand when they shoot somebody and somebody's dead, not reprimand when they're not testing adequately, with those psychological tests, because they're human, man. They're literally the judge, the execution, and the jury with that gun and that badge on. You know what I'm saying? And some people just can't handle that, especially if you already have biases built in your heart, and you're given that authority. You can abuse that, man. So, dude, what we can do, yes, protesting is cool and is bring attention to the message, but let's sit down and brainstorm, man, and come up with a solution for that. Racism, that's difficult as heck, man. That's a lot, because this nation is kind of embedded into our culture to a certain extent. So that's complicated, but the police brutality thing, I think that's an easy fix. You know what I'm saying? Let's demand those policy changes, and let's come over other ways that we can deal with that. That's my opinion. Because I said training has been my thing since the day I've been born, and it works, man. To me, it works. You constantly train, consistently train. You know what I'm saying? When people are not testing accurately, you take them off force, man. So you shouldn't be dealing with people. It's like when you go to somebody in customer service and they rude as hell and they pissed off at you. I'm like, dog, you should not be in customer service. It's just not for everybody. Not everybody should be a police officer. Tell me what you think, man. I mean, that's my solution.